Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. I'm gonna rearrange everything here. I've been playing a bunch of Soul Calibur lately, and when I do that, I have to completely rearrange my desk so that my fight stick will fit on the desk. Okay. Well, let's start out with the links, yeah? Not a ton of volume on the open, but it was selling. Oh yes, right here. Well, that's not good. I'm already having what am I doing here sort of moments. This one. Okay, so let's pull this over. Well, we had this key level here, 2700, that was kind of well, if they breached this previous low, then things is going to get really ugly, and they did it, and then they recovered. Kind of par for the course in this bull market. They go right down to the scary level, they breach it, everybody panics, and then it's from there on out, it's fine. Anyways, we're kind of doing this double dip thing. We did recover yesterday, though. Almost as soon as I left. You see that? That's when it came back. So, I was making the right macro play, but obviously I was not catching the edges very well. I was not scalping very well. You can see it there in ZN. But, this spike was not as high, so very, very high probability that any kind of buy we get here, and we could get a decent buy still. It's just going to be waves, slightly smaller. Our spread is going crazy though, so let's keep an eye on that. Oh yes, now the trade yesterday. So yesterday, I had this robot. Oh yes, we gotta turn him on. Let's turn him on. Enabled. Okay. Had the robot, turned him on yesterday. He took a trade. It was a good trade. He went short. And then I had to go. And so I just turned it off and let it run. Bye. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but Seth, if you left it open all night, then you basically lost half, if not more than that, of what it was going to gain. So you still screwed up. But see, that's not what I did. I came home and I closed it at the end of the session. So I made 750. It was pretty hilarious, man. Here, I'll show you. Here's the sim account. 781.25. So after all of that, disaster really was yesterday was disaster. Okay, after all of that, we did catch a big one. That's kind of funny. I think the robot wasn't necessarily getting things the way that I would like. I don't know. It took a really big swing, so I think probably needs to be slightly modified, the way which ones they take and how it gets out and stuff. But we can fix that. But it's definitely telling us some things that I think we need to. Why do I have that on there twice? That would do it. Anyways, it's definitely giving us some tradable signals, let's say. Yeah. We can work with that. Very much so. Hmm. Premieres are now available.
Video.
What is that? Oh, it's like I can create a new video and we can watch it together. Oh, that's such a great idea. I don't know if it's really a great idea, but it does kind of sound fun if I was maybe like making different kind of content. We're not really making content, we're just trading and lazily putting it out on the internet for everybody to make fun of us. This is what's really going on. I gotta type something here. Well, I don't know. I kind of think that they want to make another move up because the E-mini's coming down. And I mean, I think the E-mini could come down a good 5 points maybe down to here. It seems like, well, so we got this profile here and we got this big profile. I think they're going to want to revisit this big profile down here. But, you know, at the same time, you know, if you went into 15.5, now they're holding it. So it's kind of hard. You know, where we're at right now, it makes it really hard to take a position. In my mind. Let's see, now this one's weak. Well, this is the kind of setup that my robot might end up taking. If we're range bound enough and it gets an impulse, it might take a position. That's where I don't want to reveal the specifics of how it works, but basically, if things are quiet and it detects an impulse, then it takes it. I guess I should pop in down here. We don't have news. We have news later in the session. It's Wednesday. Oh, we have HPI at the top of the hour. Then flash manufacturing. Okay, so it filled us, and now they're stacking at 15, and the 15 half is pulled. So I wanted to take it short, just get like a tick, but it did not do what I wanted. I wanted to get filled on just like a little trickle. It'd be offered like this, 14 half pulling, and I get the tick. Well, it looks like I would have gotten the tick. Well, they're not hitting into 14 half. I don't know. Considering the direction the E-mini looks pointed right now, probably that was a bad trade in general. So I think it's, as soon as I got in that, I did not like the way it looked. So I say we're lucky that it got that went out. And 14 half is pulling significantly, but you wouldn't have been filled. And if 15 goes bid again, then I would definitely say that we did the right thing. And there's a hit there. Okay, I guess he would have gotten filled. The only 17 offered. Well, they could. I mean, I've seen it where it's been like that, and then all of a sudden somebody decides to pile on. Could happen. There is some selling in the 5-year there. And of course it goes a bit again. And 12 3/4 bulls. But 14.5 is trading back and forth, so it does seem like value is now considered one tick lower. That's a good sign for short. Okay. Well, ZB is at 16 again, but the 16 that's not gonna pull. Does not look like that's gonna pull. The 5-year is acting a little fidgety. Okay. Well, a few pulled at 16. You getting like 100 at a time pulling? Okay. And they get the, oh wow. They only traded 85. Well, I don't know if that's enough of a bullish signal to make me want to go like long here. At least not in ZN. I think that in ZN I would have had to have taken it at 14.5. And when it was at 14.5, I was thinking about going short. And now I guess technically I am thinking about going long because I'm talking myself out of it. But the way that it's trading, it's kind of, you could go long and it could totally turn back around here. Well, we are balanced one tick higher now because we were balanced around 15 before, and then 14.5, and now we're balanced around 15.5. Yeah, 15.5 is going to be in the pill. Now, there's my cell phone. That's the CIA spying on us. That's what that is. Listen, Mr. FBI, CIA, intelligence people, if you want to listen in, you can just tune into the YouTube stream like everyone else. You don't have to use my cell phone. I'm not really serious about that. Oh, obviously. Well, it's sticking up still. I don't know. Yeah, but you ever get, it's like when you put when I bring this cell phone right next to this microphone, you can kind of hear like the cell phone waves interfering with the microphone. It's like the cell phone received a message of some sort. Okay, that 15.5 is it's looking a little better now, and they're hitting the 132. Okay. So now they're kind of showing some signs that they want to turn around. It's like I'm noticing it's kind of doing that like every downtick, but it might not necessarily be a big deal. That 66 is not like, why have to short that? It does kind of make me have to pause though, I think. What's the E-mini doing here? The E-mini's buying a little bit. There's some indication that they're buying in the E-mini. Oh, where are okay. So it's pulling. No, this 5 years still kind of strongly bid. You could still pop out of there and push the 10-year out. So I don't think that I can rely on this thing for my entry. Yeah. Well, I mean, it pulled to 5. So yeah, I think in this spot you could trade through that 5 and still be okay. Robot did not see the impulse. That's interesting as well. Well, it does appear that they're probably going to end up testing the upside. I believe there is a good case that they will come short, and we could go short, but just seeing 5K stacking at 16 would not be enough. Okay, so now the 15F is really trying to bid this up. Alright, well, they're convincing a few people to buy, but they're getting, ooh, interesting. I don't know. I feel suspicious. The 7616 sure seems like that's like a really good, hey, we can short this now kind of a signal. You know, like they sold through the 15.5. They're getting a hard time getting it to go bid. Yep. ES makes new lows and then ZV contract trades 20 contracts into the high, rinse repeat, no new highs. But that means to me that like the trade is already like winding off. Well, I'm not quite, I don't know. Okay, so now ZB is below that 16 again. And well, that's kind of fishy. Some balance right there. Certainly, if you took 15.5, that would be great. If you could catch that now. Now that 14.5 is looking weak. Maybe even 15 might be okay as a balanced area, but this 14.5 hitting into that looks suspicious. Especially with this going on right here. This is not ready to fall. Okay. Maybe now if we get filled. I don't think that's going to fill. Okay. My numbers are okay. Actually, maybe a little bit too okay. Okay. A little concerned. So we did see a big order hit into 12 half in the 5-year. And it went off for a little bit, but then it came back up. Now I'm seeing a lot of retail people hitting into 14 half. It is not going. Look at that though. Man. That was interesting. Okay, they did finally take it. And now they're hitting the next price in CF. And nobody's hitting it in the 10-year. That's kind of interesting, guys. Maybe about to see the damn break. We'll have to get out quickly if this doesn't go, but like, look, the 5-year is selling very... I mean, that was a very solid price action down. Okay, that 12's not pulling, but you know, they need the 10-year to play along here. Okay, some people are hitting it. A little bit of backflow. Okay. Now, so for some reason, this 14 is being stubborn. guess it is the bottom of the range, you know, that we've had since the beginning of the session. They're still absorbing and stuff. I don't know. So now they're stacking it to 7. Okay. The humidity is starting to take off. Here's a 30 about to take a tick down. I think we should just scratch this. Like, we got the one hit into 14 and then they're backing up. I don't know. It still looks pointed down to me. L15's looking weak. Let's see if we can wrangle ourselves a better position here. Nope. There was the HPI there. Let's see what the HPI number was. It was 0.3 versus 0.3, so it came in as expected. Oh, I still see some retail selling in here. Okay. Okay. That's what we wanted. Well, the 5-year definitely kind of was what prompted us to move back up here. I think that if it stays like this, then that it could be good for us to go down and have a much bigger move down. What I'm wondering if they're saying that they're just gonna not do anything until okay, so there's a bunch of polling there. It's just kind of low interest both sides there. Okay. Maybe a little bit, but a little bit of iceberging there. The 30-year showing absolutely no sign that it's gonna. They're just like, hey, we're close to 16. Party time. They like that 16. So they're going to have to do a little bit better than that if they're going to trade through this 15. Okay. Still not doing it into 30. It may happen fast though. Okay, now they're thinking about flipping it. Yes, they flipped it. It's still seeing like 75 lots. You know, like they're, you know, around 100 in size, and there's just like one of them that'll hit. Seeing a lot of that today. I've never noticed that before. Maybe it's always been happening, but I've never noticed that before. Okay, that was a good snack that time. Pull against 16. And pull at 12 halves is good. 14 halves still not pulling. I'm noticing that the 30 years has a bit more to come off. Well, they did not go that time. And in fact, we are up a tick again. I think that it needs to be like, and this needs to be like 150 stop limit. Nope. They're taking it up at 18 now. Oh, let's not do this on the series account. This is an experiment, okay? That's thick. So we lost two on that. That's actually not too bad. And now that 15 half is all thick. Well, No, no. Was there? Did I miss something on the squawk? I didn't even have it on. Bum bum bum. I'm so dumb. The E-mini is selling pretty hard here. There's 27. We're gonna pull it up. Where is it? There you are. Right here. If they fell this, then we could get some more. And of course, they're already starting to say, oh, maybe it's over. Okay, well, this is not behaving the way that I would want to see for being long at 16.5. Now the E-mini could come down here. They did appear to just pivot. Where did my pen go? I restarted things. Well, see this right here. There's a big buyer. Let me back up because it's changed, right? There's this. Come off. Came back. This. They're trying to push it below this level so they can potentially stop him out. But they don't appear to have enough oomph.
Geopolitics, German Foreign Minister, Russian counterpart Lavrov to possible to have the
They're not doing a whole lot to want to buy into that. It is holding the bid. I don't know. What a shame. Okay. Right. We're getting an order here and there. Huh. We got about 4 minutes for this to happen. Okay, there was 14 that time. Can you believe we're celebrating 15 people buying in the note? That's how tight this is. Now they're really putting the pressure on it. I'm tempted to just pull my order. That was hilarious. I don't know if I have this in the right spot. I think the 17 would be a little safer, but I don't know. It comes back down through here. I want to put it in 19. I think there's too much of a chance of it actually happening and just not going. Well, let's reset this so we can see. So you can see now in the E-mini. And when you look at the level, I kind of skewed that, but it looks like they're trying to pull somebody underwater there. Okay, so here's the E-mini. First impulse is lower. Okay, now I can move it. Close in this. Okay. Okay. Here's where we should see buyers step in. We are seeing them. But are they going to make much progress? Okay, that was good. I want to see the buy come in. Come on. I mean, that's the sell. It's not too spectacular. Granted, that ugly sweep from yesterday could pop in at any moment and piss me off. But I think that the buyers are gonna come in here.
Heads up with 10 minutes now.
And we do have news. It may be a little slow here for a bit.
Against
Okay. Curious. Okay. You get little small victories and then they end up not mattering. Well, there was some buying volume there. No, they're catching them. They're catching them. Okay, so there's a buy. Well, that was a pretty good. You're gonna have some problems here when they come back into the profile, but if they can stay here, it's really, really good. That could have been really bad, but I just was not seeing what I expected to see at 18 to be panicking out, so I held it. That was good. Nope, wrong one. Wrong one. Good buy in the E-mini right there. Like right there, it's 27.38. Was a really, really good opportunity, I think. Now, the other thing I'm noticing though is that my trade in the ZB is not going quite the way that I wanted to. seller's fighting for his life right here, but they're buying it at 27.39. So there was a good hit into 16 there. But it didn't go off, or E-mini's not. Okay, so there was a big buy there in the E-mini. You are clear for liftoff. That was a good downtick. I'm just looking over here, trying to make sure I'm aware of where the ranges are. And that the currencies are not showing any kind of signs that we stop. Okay. So the E-mini took a profit there.
A minute.
They're all exiting before the news. Okay. Pick up in level 2 activity.
5.9 for man. 7.
manufacturing.
So PMI was good. What's with this? So what I'm seeing now is kind of a head and shoulders pattern, but it's not confirming. I'm not necessarily seeing the confirming sell volume yet. They need to break. They broke the neck. I mean, it happened. Yeah. Yeah. So that trade in ZB did not work out. They're gonna bust this.
We will get the release
No.
of the Bank of Canada interest rate decision.
Market expectation is my basis like to trade rates slow down growth year on year. Last year, growth now at 3% in the year to wage growth is running at will continue with the Bank of Canada on a higher of %. I will lead with Bank of Canada and follow with afterwards.
Okay, so E-mini showing signs that they're gonna pivot here. They're gonna get above the 27.34. Should do. I mean, it looks kind of scary, but it's not. It shouldn't be a big deal. See? Bum, bum. Okay.
Block by. It is not going. So really, when you look at this one overall, okay, so that oh, come on, okay, so -4 overall. But this trade, I took it, I sold it at what? $16.5. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I should even take any more trades. I mean, I see the short here, but it's a really risky one, and it's like all dependent on what the E-mini does here. So I don't think that this is a trade. I made this mistake yesterday, and I need to stay out.
Bank of Canada make decisions. Are looking for 5% units, million.
See, they're taking it up, but there's just a lot of absorption at 18. Amy, you take another sweep. Mm.
25 basis points back to 1.75%. Canada says trade tensions have significant and lasting impact on global economy. Estimates of tariffs, if made permanent, will be sent in the by spot 5% China by end of 2020.
Hmm.
US consumer prices rise by up to 10%. Paris work was on effect on Canada, while fallout for more severe than expected. Raises on take into account how is adjusting to higher rates. They will also mention trade policies that implicate inflation outlook, especially robust, but expected to moderate over trade deal, trade policy. The US-China trade conflict weighing on global growth and commodity prices. The investment and exports dampened by recent decline in commodity competitiveness challenges and limited transportation capacity. The Canadian economy continues to operate. Potential growth is more balanced. New homes high up.
I'm kind of looking for this 19 half to hold. Like, this is liquidity has been in here for a long time, and when it comes up, it actually stacks there.
Gradually.
Okay, well, that's what you would like to see when you're fading it in terms of how you get filled. But I want to see that tick down. Obviously, I want to see that pull. And see the mini buy here. I don't know if that's a good. Okay. Curious that we're a tick lower when the E-mini is kind of testing its lows here. come that sweep again. Okay, so they're hitting 18 again, and the E-mini is moving up really good there. Yeah. Well, they're kind of testing it though, aren't they? And they are, that is a profit-taking area. Hmm. It's not really quite doing the right thing when it takes. I mean, when they make a big move up, it does it, but they're actually seeing where it comes down, and this comes down. Yeah, John Grady.
Who thinks a couple of has no grasp of
Look at that.
Italy's Trier saying government is aiming.
So we got there to there.
Is not.
Oh, no. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. And there's an iceberg there. I did the right thing. Even though it was only 3. Come on. And my strategy has not taken any. Okay, so now it's going to take. There we go. My strategy has not taken any trades today. Do you see that? Do you see what I am talking about right here? That is just stupid. What just happened there? They come back up 2 ticks.
Why do you think it's stupid?
Because they're just watching the E-mini trade. You're like, you might as well just trade the E-mini.
So why are you sitting here trading the E-mini? Go trade the E-mini.
Well,
You can get your own price.
so that's what I kind of did yesterday, and I don't know. So the problem that I'm having now is that I feel like switching between the two is not a good idea. It's like if I had come in and I had said, okay, I'm going to trade ZB until 7, and then at 7:35, 5 minutes after the E-mini opens, and I'll just trade the E-mini. Maybe that would work, but that trade has still got big problems too. So, and I'm kind of like, I would rather practice on Xeon and get that.
Ian sucks.
Well, here's 18.5 again if you want to take it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I feel like you're trying to scalp a lot of the noise that's, and you're kind of missing out on some of the like all this trading on DB between like 22 and 26 has just been now we're potentially making a new move up.
Yeah, I let's see, how would I draw this? If I take this and we'll go like this, and so there's all this noise. So good trades were this and this. So it's kind of like, I think, sometimes you can see that it's turning there and it's picking up a little bit momentum. And if you anticipating it and you catch it, like maybe you could have bought it at 15, and held it until the 17.5 up at the top. And you get 5 ticks, But then sometimes you see it do that, and it's only worth 2 ticks. So, yeah, you take the 2 ticks. But you're right that it's still a lot of noise.
Yeah, I mean, I've been complaining today because I've taken I've taken 4 trades for 1 tick, and one of those trades was half a tick because I failed in.
Well, something I find interesting is that my automated strategy hasn't taken a trade today. It never saw. So when the pivot came and like the momentum came, it was pretty much out of nowhere, and the indicator said there was too much noise and didn't take it.
Well, it is lagging indicator.
Yeah.
I don't want to short at the top of this, but I know it's like I could just get my face ripped off, like we've seen.
Yeah, I really liked it when we came up to 18.5 the first time. I mean, there was a lot of volume trading through there, but it wasn't aggressive. It kind of looked forced to me and stuff. So I took it short and it worked out. But this time it looks a little bit different. I mean, this time they could level break it higher, so it was a little risky to go long there, go short there. But it's like 50-50 prob. It's not high prob.
You just risk like 1 tick, 2 ticks. So upside of like I'm looking at ZB, right? So if I got short at 26, I could try and get out at like maybe 22, 21, and I'd risk 28. That's like a 3 for 1 or something risk reward.
Well, so if you're using stops and you get your price or 1 tick higher, then I think you could. But I think if I took it, I would really be risking to 20.
But you're trying to sell the top, right? So if to make a new top, you didn't sell the top, so get out of the trade.
Yeah, it was 19.5. But I'm saying if I put my stop at 19.5, there's a chance it would hit at 20.
Yeah. But if you're going for a higher than a 50% win rate, then you can take 1-for-1 risk reward trades. So we probably
Sure.
Gasoline.
I don't want to hear this guy anymore. I don't care about oil. So I'm kind of looking for low risk, high probability. I don't see the short there being high probability. It's a 50-50. So it's been kind of rangy, but they are doing a level break setup. Level break setup is 50-50 when we're not in trend, so. Although the way that they touched, I thought that when they broke, because they did break it there, right? I thought when they broke it that they were going to go touch 20 really quickly, but they didn't, so maybe it is still good. Or at least maybe you could get a pullback and then maybe it goes up again and only makes another one tick high.
Yeah, man, I mean, it's definitely scary trying to short these levels right at the top because it's just like one tick away from blowing.
Yeah. Well, you're right that the risk works. It's just I've got to see something that says that there's a really good probability that they're going to move it lower now.
Well, you're seeing, I mean, at least on ZB, they got a pretty weak bid there, but they're not selling into it yet. So I'm probably gonna hold off on this.
Block buy.
But yeah, like ES,
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was worried about right there. That block buy at 19.5. Wow, 7,000.
But we have been seeing a lot recently. Like I've been telling everyone in the chat is we'll see ES go on trend and we will just range in the bottom.
Oh yeah, totally.
You can kind of use that as like, you know, ES makes a new low, recovers a little bit, take a short, just aim for the bottom of the or like even halfway in the range.
Well, I think what happens is you get the start of a move and all of the E-mini traders panic and come over and buy bonds to hedge themselves, and then I think you get to a point where they've all hedged themselves, and so maybe the E-mini goes lower and we just kind of range because there's no more, they're not actually buying it. And then if the E-mini keeps going down, eventually somebody gets stopped out, like maybe what happened there in 19.5. So then it's kind of like all at once. And that's another thing. I like it. I think that an easier trade, at least, is one where it's kind of slow, but there's some clear indication that we've already made a turn there, and they give you plenty of time to get in, and you have good risk reward in that location, all of that sort of a thing, right? And then it moves, and you wait for the move, and the move happens, and it's fast, and then you get out when it kind of gets crazy, right? Like that's a really good trade because when you get those stops and stuff, there's a really good chance of it turning around there, right? The other way around, I think, is not as good of a trade. Like it's ranging around, and then all of a sudden it's just really fast tick down, and then it's like everybody's chasing it, and you click in and you get the poor risk reward, and then you end up buying the bottom of it, and then they take it back the other way.
See, the way I see it is, I think of it as you've heard about the phases of the market where there's like accumulation and then like buying up and distribution or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know that theory.
Right.
So all this noise and all this ranging action is just people getting in and out of positions. So for me, what I found that works well is trying to buy the bottom of these little ranges and trying to sell the top of these ranges, and then just trying to be on the right side of the move because I don't know if it's going to go up or down. Okay, unless I've been looking at longer term stuff, or watching the flow at those levels and seeing the buyers step in or the sellers die off. Once I see that, I'll try.
That looks really good right there at 19.
But I don't really know until the move goes and breaks one of the levels.
Right.
So a lot of these like one tick trades that I'm taking, it's where it looks like it's a break, it's a fake out. I'm holding.
Oh yeah.
It's still in the range, but I'm just kind of trying to get maybe a scratch or a tick out of it for my worries.
What's ES doing here? Oh man, ES is doing something crazy over here. That's a good point though. Like you'll tend to get, especially in ZB, you'll tend to get like a 4-tick range. And if you can see where that 4-tick range is and catch the edge of that 4-tick range, it makes things so much easier. Because you don't even necessarily have to be right about which way it's going to come out, and you can still make money.
Why don't you trade ZB then?
Because I'm really, really bad at seeing where that 4-tick range is.
You just made it really easy. You find the 4-tick range.
No. I said if you can see it. If you can see it.
All I hear is you talking about all this good advice that you have, but you don't want to follow it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people do it. Like, that's the thing is, I've seen people, like, you can do it on the ZB, and I could maybe go back and spend some time on it, but it was like, oh man, I was so bad at it, dude. Like 2 years ago, so bad at it.
So it doesn't matter. Like, you gotta
I guess it was a year ago, but so I did ZB for about a year, and then I switched over to ZN, and I started having a lot more success in the ZN, and so I did it that way. But I think a lot of it is more psychological, right? Like I have trouble with focus, and seeing the tick your way, that's a little bit of dopamine and norepinephrine that kind of helps me focus, and I think that when you see it go against you 3 ticks in ZB, it kind of really sucks, or when you see it go 2 ticks without you, it really kind of sucks, and I'm kind of click happy. So I think that ZB just kind of plays into some of my worst cognitive habits.
stop it.
Yeah.
You got the self-awareness.
I mean, it's not. It's okay. You can still make money in the 10-year and just size it up, and then you don't have to worry about the adverse ticks as much, because it's a little bit easier to pinpoint the exact spot.
Like, this is kind of what I've been saying, ES is kind of poking as low as he can, and we're not really, looking like we're gonna make new highs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we're still a few ticks off, and a few ticks is quite a lot for treasuries. If ES goes and makes a new low, maybe we'll trade 28s, 29s again on the bond, but I don't think we're gonna go through it.
Well, I kind of like this, what I'm seeing here in the 10-year, where there was a 6K buy at 19.5 that they went through, and now 25,000 contracts have traded through 19, and we're below that. So now we're at 18.5. If the E-mini actually ends up picking a bid here, which maybe they will, but I'm not going to trust them. But you have a good short opportunity at 19 now with the risk reward. Well, there's a downtick. There you go. But it's a little too close to my ending time, so I didn't take it. The problem is you got that sweep in the E-mini that could pop in at any time and ruin the whole thing. I've decided it's George Soros. That's my theory. It's George. He's coming in. He's gonna sweep them all out. You know what I'm saying? By the way, Uzi, I did see you there earlier. I forgot to say hi because I was distracted.
Who's calls in what? Just watch the action, trade the action. You're gonna go crazy trying to find the reason for every single thing that happens.
That wouldn't be any fun though.
not supposed to be fun. Good job.
It's not supposed to be fun. Okay.
Well, that's what I asked you yesterday. I'm like, well, what does trading mean to you? Like, is it just a hobby, or are you gonna like try and make a reasonable income with it? So if you're if you're coming in with the idea of potentially replacing your day job, then you shouldn't try and say like, oh well, that's not fun, because I don't think trading's very fun anymore.
No.
I get a lot of stress in my part.
Yeah, it's stressful. Yeah.
That happened on like my second month of demo trading, but I was like, well, it's something I wanted to do, and at the end of the day, I'm still happy about trading for my income. So
So the way I kind of look at it, I don't remember who it was. It was a lady. It was one of those bigger psychology people, but it was a lady. So if you run across that psychology seminar and it's a lady, it was probably her. And she was saying that there's really no such thing as freedom from emotion. Like people tell you, oh, that was a really big stack at 19. Don't want to buy it anymore.
that's a great time to buy it though. You buy
Or so sorry, sell it. I meant sell it. I don't want to sell it anymore.
Yeah. You should be buying 19.5 because the buyer's got to step up and then just offer a tick above at 20, and you'd probably be home free. I would have taken that trade if I was paying it.
Yeah, that's the one that I was like a couple of months ago that I was saying like really irks me, because when I was doing really well at the beginning of the year, like that was the trade. Like if I saw it's kind of ranging, and then we tick up and I see 4,000 on the bid immediately, I would just immediately click into 19.5 every time and just hold it and have the 4 tick stop. And sometimes it would come back 2 ticks, but it will almost always go up, right? And then it was like mid-March, April area when like anytime that they would do that, it did the exact opposite. But it's been working really good this month.
Well, yeah, because we're getting these longer moves.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like the really easy trades where you can get like 4 or 5 ticks. You just buy it all the way. If you just scale
Block
in,
buy.
you'll buy every single time they tick it up.
Well, they're absorbing a lot of this. Anyways, but what I was saying before, a lot of people say that you want to be like a robot and that you need your emotions to be completely separated from the trade. But like, the truth is it's just not possible. If you think that you can do that, then it just kind of disconnects you from the emotion, and so you just don't realize when it's happening.
Here's my question for you, Seth. Then, if you think it's not possible, then do you think it's correct to trade as a human being, or should you just have a robot trade, or can you just embrace the fact that it's impossible to be emotionally or separated from your trading and just trade with emotion? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the answer is the thing that she said was, there's no such thing as freedom from emotion, but there is such a thing as freedom of emotion, which is to say that you can't control that you have feelings, but you can control what kind of feelings you have, and you can kind of change it around. So you can go into like, hey, if you had a bad trade and you're mad about it, you can sit down and feel that emotion and then flip it around into being able to move on from it and be positive afterwards. So there are times, I think, when the market's doing certain things where the best thing to do is to just have fun with it, because it might not necessarily be like the best trading action for you. So it's just kind of like, hey, get a little cynical, we'll have a few jokes here and there,
Block sell.
a few conspiracy theories, because maybe that's the best thing to keep you from making a stupid trade at that point, is just pointing out how ridiculous the whole thing is.
I don't know. I'm just kind of embracing the crazy market, trying to capitalize on it. I'll sit here and be surprised every day, but I'm not gonna make profit if I'm just sitting here gawking at these moves instead of trying to read them and understand. I don't know. That's just my psychology.
I think you're doing the right thing on. You just get the little small ones if you get 2 ticks out of it, and then it's fine. And like as soon as any kind of momentum disappears, you just get out. Because otherwise, you get that like that one. You know, we took a short at 19. I guess you would have gotten a tick or 2 out of it, but you know the momentum didn't continue. You should have taken it off, and you would have avoided that.
I lost one trade. I took a long at 22 or 21, 22. I bought up. They traded, I think, 24s. I didn't take it. And then I puked out at the bottom at 19. They traded 18.
Oh yeah.
Sold the bottom of the spike. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly where I get screwed up in ZB too. Well, you know what happened to me in ZB actually was I saw that whole thing and I was like, well, I think they're going to touch 16 again, and I can kind of see that there's a thing where if they trade 19, there's a good chance they're going to trade 16. So I thought as an experiment I would put a stop limit at 19 and see if it go to 16, and I think that one actually, hold on. Where is it? Oh, okay, so it got two favorable ticks, but it never filled at 16. And you notice that there's this like huge dip in the volume profile at 16 now, which is really weird. Yeah, it totally screwed me over exactly in that same way. Basically sold the low.
I'm starting to feel a short here, by the way, on the 30. Kind of double topped at 29. And like I said, I'm kind of expecting some ranging action later in the day versus friends. Yes, looks like it's kind of found some volume, found some balance, about 3-4 points above its lows. Might try and get short at 28, but not yet. A lot of defense on ES at 27.25, where the value area ends. They got these weak bids, or sorry, these weak offers. But they don't look too interested in buying them up. Very reluctant.
This is getting kind of I mean, there's a lot of pressure building here, but I don't know if they're going to be able to beat out yesterday's high. I mean, that would take a lot to beat out yesterday's high, and yesterday was like super ridiculous, crazy, right? So it's kind of like, it seems like really good risk reward to go short, but there sure could be, it sure could blow up in your face if it doesn't work.
Yeah, like ES is starting to downtick, and we're actually taking down on the bonds, or trying to take it down anyway. It looks like.
Well, it's kind of weird because the E-mini isn't anywhere even close to, I mean, it's not even to the overnight low, let alone close to yesterday's range. But bonds are all the way up here. But bonds may be reacting to something else. Bonds might be saying, hey, actually the Federal Reserve is going to change its mind. In fact, I think one of the speakers, let me look here.
I just wish they would like make new highs and sweep up 3 ticks so I would know that was the top or whatever.
Right. Like when it sweeps up like 3 ticks and you see like a huge iceberg in the middle of that and you're like, okay, I think I should go short now. I haven't seen Keith for a few weeks, but he would always get that one. I would do balls on that guy. Yeah, if you see a stop run of some sort, especially in the 10-year, like you see a stop run in the 10-year, and there's actually significant absorption in the stop run as well, and then they immediately tick back on it, then it's a very good short.
Damn.
I mean, it always depends, of course, contextual wise, because if it's a trend day, you don't want to go against a trend. But when you see stops, that's often an indication that there are no more people to take it in that direction, and it's going to reverse.
I feel like ES has kind of found the bottom now. We've seen a bunch of higher lows and kind of higher highs. I wish I looked at that chart earlier, so I probably wouldn't have gotten short then at 28.
I kind of wonder if they do decide to take it down here, if if like a big offer chases it down, just like a big bid chased us up. I don't think I'm gonna be able to stay around long enough to see it if it happens.
It looks like it's heading down to make new lows. We'll see how they react. Bit of a battle going on.
Now you're getting big prints there. Oh, they filled them. There you go.
Big offers above us. At least on the first. Those 900s and then the 12. And it being even also is like.
That right there in the E-mini is exactly the kind of stop run that I was just talking about.
Putting in an offer at 29 to go short. I'm gonna kind of play off this 31 evens area as my bid. Just a one.
How did our Bitcoin do today?
About 200 in the queue. Get short at 29. Pretty dangerous though, because I'm basically like trying to sell the top as we make new highs. Right, I'm short. Little one lot. If you see any like spike run, I got my bid in at 21 to cover, but if I see any like sweep or spike on the bond, I'm just gonna take whatever I can. They're trying to take up the 10 and the 5, but they haven't done it yet. A little bit worried about that.
Well, I think at some point this is going to be a short today, but there's no way for me to say where it's going to be at.
Could be it. I don't know, I'm short 29, so I'm biased. Yes, kind of, like a big spike down, and I feel like that's usually the end of the move, because like it's just gets
Right. I'm a little concerned though, just that bonds are this high. It's like, it kind of makes me think that if things are going to turn around, that you have a much better opportunity in the E-mini than in Treasuries. But Like they could be saying the Fed is going to be a little bit easier, so we should have a bit of a longer term trend up, but then the E-mini will recover because of that too. And so you have a situation where where they both generally go up, just that treasuries don't go up as much. Oh, there's a significant sell in ZN.
Yeah, I'm a pussy.
It didn't hold, but it was a significant sell. You know what? I'm just gonna get mesmerized by this again. I need to stop now. I will talk to you later.
All right, later.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you for watching. Hope you made your tech Uzi. I haven't said how you've been doing in this market, although I'm assuming that you've probably stayed out of a lot of it because it is pretty insane. I do think that these should come down a little bit. I mean, if the E-mini catches a bit, I think that these should come down, but I don't know if it's going to be like dramatic. It seems like there is some incentive to be buying that they think that the Fed is going to slow down. So can only hope, because that would be good for the economy. And yeah, I will see you guys. Well, oh wait, I just show you this again. We don't count that ZB because that was an experiment. Then it's just what, one tick down, one tick. So just kind of a wash of a day. Obviously could have, you know, I don't think that I ever have a buy. Oh, I did have a buy at 16.5. Actually wasn't too bad of a buy location, 16.5. Could have held that one. So yeah, well, I will see you.